Hi, I'm Johanna Diehl. I'm an artist and photographer working and living in Berlin. I'm very interested in taking part of this project because my work is also very much engaged with something that has to do with Europe and memory of Europe and the question, what is Europe? And I'm very much looking forward to work with other artists in Sarajevo. And it's very interesting for me to be part of this European artist community. I guess my work is very close to the theme of our project of crossing spaces and stories. To give you an example, I did a series in 2013 in the Ukraine. It's called Ukraine series. And I photographed former synagogues that were converted into sport halls, cinemas, manufacturing houses and other purposes. The history of the synagogues displays in a very concentrated way how European history is overwritten over time. To highlight another project that is very much related to our exhibition project is the work Displays. It shows photographs of former mosques and churches in Cyprus. The island is separated since 1974, and in the south of Cyprus you can find many abandoned mosques, and in the north of Cyprus you can find abandoned churches that were converted into mosques. I find these overwritings of one culture by the other is a very good example of how religion and ideology forms Europe and how identity is formed. The project Cults of Performance that I did last year in Lithuania is also a good example that shows my interest in European questions. The work that I realized for the Kaunas Biennial is dealing with former places of community of the Soviet Union that are today converted into places of hedonism, of the consumer, of the entrepreneur, of the sportsman. So I'm very much interested in how the change of a system and ideology is seen in spaces and how this reveals the complex layers in history of European countries. My work was very much realized in different spaces and places in Europe. For example, I did this work in Italy a few years ago, which was produced in a book called Bargo Romanita Alleanza. It deals with Italian fascism. It's interesting for me how this ideology of fascism is still sending its message through architecture and image programs until today, and how we live with this kind of heritage. For me, the work that I've done all over Europe reflects the same question that I'm always interested in, the presence of absence. And what I was looking for in the European countries is now reflected in the core of where I come from, in Germany. The work I realized in an exhibition in Berlin at Haus am Waldsee deals with how the Cold War and how the Second World War still affects us until today. The current project that I'm doing research for and that I'm preparing for our common exhibition project has the working title Archipelagos of Resistance. In this project, I'm very much interested in spaces of resistance during the war in Sarajevo, where people were dancing through the night in nightclubs and were visiting theaters and film festivals. And I'm very much interested in how people can have a sort of inner resistance against terror and war. So it's very captivating for me to finally visit the spaces that I've read so much about.